graphic design, I remember when I was at uni, one of my tutors, they actually said to me, art creates problems, design solves them. And the psychology of your client will solve the problem that they're having, creating their brand or their design that they've got in their head, but I've got the creativity to be able to put that out there. What I like to do is actually understand the client, understand the project, really get into it more than just a visual thing, because when you're creating design, when you're creating art, it is such a broad thing and there's taste for everyone. So, you know, someone might like something and the other person might not, because it is a taste. So actually getting into the minds and creating a relationship and collaborating with the client creates something that's more than just a visual, you know, art piece. It's so much more. It actually has feeling, it has emotion, and people get it more. And when people get it, they visually appreciate it more. So that's my story. I like to really get to know my clients. I build a rapport, I build a relationship, and I really understand their business or their project. Well, the book itself, obviously the content within the book is insane. Like the facts and the knowledge that Xander, you've put into it has just been amazing. But from my part, it was more visualizing that vision. It was about creating something that can visually inspire people as well as like mentally with that knowledge. So yeah, when I first got the brief, I couldn't wait. And working with Xander and the family and Phos previously, for me, it was a no-brainer, because I understood you and I understood, and it was just back to that kind of building that rapport and understanding the client. I already had that. I'd already built that over 5 years of working with you guys. So for me, it was like, yeah, this is for me. I want to take this on, no matter how hard it's going to be. I'm going to do it. So, and it was a pleasure to take part in. And I think the design itself kind of evolved from that, just understanding each other and knowing the story behind Phos and the Light Tribe, and going through that journey with you guys kind of helped me get on the journey of the design of the book as well. So that's when I kind of presented, you know, do you want illustrative style? Do you want photography? Do you want block style? We ended up going down the natural route of illustration, and I think that kind of promotes that kind of authentic style that we wanted. Once that was out the way and we kind of were like, yes, the front cover's done, that's when we started blocking out the layout. So it's basically going through all the content, blocking it out in certain sections. From there, it's building a template in InDesign, which takes ages, but then within that, we started creating the illustrations for each of the chapters. And then once the illustrations were complete, it starts slotted in with the content and just back and forth. But the process beforehand is just all about understanding. Again, it's back to the client. It's like understanding, what do you want this book to visually look like? The content's done, you know what you want to say in it. There was quite a few concepts in my brain that I wanted to. I remember that one of my concepts I sent to Xander, and Xander was like, okay, that's a bit out there. Let's kind of rein it back in. So we did a few sketches, and that was just me, pen on paper, just sketching it out and sending it out, because obviously me being really creative, I was really looking at like really intense metaphors, and quite, you know, it was like one of them was like actually an eyelid being pulled up at one point. But we wanted to soften the blow and just create it more kind of in an obvious but not obvious way. So that curtain is a lot more relatable, I think. I was going a bit abstract at the beginning, but I think that's what we wanted to do. We just wanted to kind of hit that nerve with people, that this is an opening for their knowledge, and also just an understanding that, you know, there's so much more out there. I think that the technical, it's making changes halfway through the book and then having to redesign the layout and go back and do everything all over again. So I think that's definitely the hardest thing in terms of graphics, where especially when text is involved and the content and everything flows, and once you've added a paragraph, then the whole layout of the book kind of moves on with it. But creatively, there was no blockages, I think, with this project. It was always quite an easy creative flow. It was just the technical things that in most projects that is usually the issue. So, but apart from that, there wasn't really much. It was just making sure that everything flowed, and obviously when it comes to print, just making sure everything's perfect. Learning from that experience, it would probably be like, get your content signed off beforehand and then kind of go to the design and the layout. But you know, it was a learning journey for all of us. It was our first kind of project at this scale with this, you know, kind of, you know, publication, that we were learning along the way with each other. And I think that was probably the hardest part, just continually. It was always the little things that needed amending. It was always, you know, like, we're so nearly there, we've done it, and then it might be just one slight little move, or that's always probably the hardest thing. And that is when you kind of lose that drive to get it. But at the end of the day, you just want it. You want it out there, and that's what kind of pushes you through, because you know that these little tweaks, they're all, you know, it's the final thing. It's the final thing to get this perfect artwork out there. So it's worth it in the end.